So we got another Alien film in the roster. After it's been a while, Ridley Scott had
Yay.
his prequel duology, and then it just kind of died. Um, then there was all this talk about this TV show that's coming out, Alien Earth, and then they said, oh, there's actually a movie coming out, Alien Romulus. I was like, oh, okay, so is the TV show gone? No, the TV show is still set to come out next year. Alien Earth.
Fuck. Not the film. It's the show. Fuck.
Yeah, the show.
Gee. Oh yeah, made by the guy who made Legion, the Marvel show. Oh yeah, people think it's great, right? Yeah, for like one season, and it dive into phase 4 levels.
Yeah. Um, and I know Alien Earth is like set long in the past, way before like Prometheus and stuff.
Yay.
The
I
timeline is kind of confusing.
Yeah, they just made a lot of prequels to Alien instead of sequels.
Yeah, honestly, that's kind of my thing about the Alien franchise. But before we continue on, welcome back to another Reviews Corp podcast. I'm your host, Red Devilos Reviews, and I'm back here again with Unity Review and Analysis. What's up, man?
I I'm just happy to see this movie. Yay. People tell me it's so great, right? Is it? Is it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've just seen people say it's finally back to a, like, at least it's not as bad as the other prequels and Resurrection, which I'm not really sure where that lies right now.
I mean,
Um,
I guess just I guess they just clap when they hear, "Get away from her, you bitch."
yeah, but the character who didn't curse at all, so it's really weird when he says it.
I don't even know why did he refer her as a bitch, because in Aliens he just it's because that alien is literally the queen alien, the queen who lays all eggs. So it's like, oh yeah, you bitch. Now it's like
Yeah,
just
I
yeah,
mean, I guess to be fair, for example, I can call you a bitch, and it doesn't mean you're a girl. It just, it's
you're lame, something like this.
like, yeah, it's just kind of like that. But yeah, Alien Romulus. It's a brand new Alien film after a while. It's not directed by Ridley Scott, but he is the producer.
Fuck.
Uh, yeah, it's written and directed by Fede Alvarez, who has recently done Evil Dead Rises. The Evil Dead movie without Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, but I like Jane Levy, so still.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard people were pretty good with it, like the movie, but like not, it's like it's fine, but it's not like I'd want to see that without Bruce Campbell. So,
Yeah.
but then they got the Ash, but then they had that Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which was really garbage.
Oh fuck, he made that.
He did the story. He didn't direct. He wrote the story. Yeah. So yeah, he does get more of the blame for that one. Oh, and that he directed that From Dusk Till Dawn TV show.
Aww.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag, mixed bag. But I know, like, you know, I think he's a good director. I'll give him that. But
Uh,
yeah, so, uh, you know,
is that guy also made Don't Breathe too, by the way?
yeah, that as well. But yeah, Alien Romulus. So a lot of questions were coming up about, like, what what is the plan for this? Like, is it supposed to be set after everything else? So it's like not really a sequel. It's like its own thing, or is it like a reboot, or is it like a sequel to the Covenant? Uh, and the other Ridley Scott prequels. No, it's actually set in between Alien and Aliens.
Aliens.
So basically, the first film and the second film, and the first two films have like a time gap of 57 years.
50.
So
Jeez.
there's, I guess,
Yeah.
there's like a way you could say, okay, I guess maybe there can be a story in between. So this film Romulus is set 20 years after the first film, but honestly, it doesn't really, because like you can't use, so like I guess if anybody's wondering, you don't have to worry about Sigourney Weaver coming back because she's not supposed to be here and she's not here. So at least they didn't do that.
Yay, they just bring in another person.
Yeah, and how necessary it was, we'll get to that. Uh, so stars Kaylee Spaney, who's becoming a new star, which we appreciate.
Yep.
After Priscilla and Civil War. Then you also got Isabella Merced. She's also becoming a star as well, which we also appreciate.
Yep.
And then there's a bunch of other people,
Yeah, those people.
those guys. Yeah, and so I guess before we start, how do you feel about the Alien franchise in general?
Um, I wasn't like. I mean, I think aliens are great. I was not just that attached to the franchise at the beginning because
I'm
I
not
was like,
attached to it as a franchise. I'm like fine. I really love Alien and Aliens. Obviously one is by Ridley Scott, one is by James Cameron.
they're past their primes now.
Yeah, they're way past their primes.
And then it's like, and then the third one is by David Fincher, which to be honest, that is his worst film by far. Like
The
he
third one, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
and then he just become an amazing director after that point.
yeah. And three is not like horrible. It's just like there's a lot of. It's a mess though, for sure.
Yeah, and then the fourth one, like Alien Resurrection, it's like there's a lot of big name in that movie. It's like Ron Perlman, Winona Ryder. It's like the guy who voiced Chucky in the Child's
Yeah.
Play.
Mhm.
And then it's like,
But then it's like set 200 years in the future. It's like at that point, it's like okay,
yeah,
it's to a point where like people just like it's not canon. All right, so okay. I mean it
yeah,
is, but
but
yeah,
it's like fuck it.
yeah. And then obviously in that one, like Earth is destroyed, or at least they confirmed Earth is destroyed. We don't know how long it's been destroyed, though. To be fair, because Alien and Aliens both say like, oh, we need to go back to Earth, kind of thing. So it's not destroyed at that point, from what I understand.
Yeah.
But then we got those prequels by Ridley Scott himself. So what do you think about that?
Because I think Ridley Scott just got to a bar, take too much crack, drink too much beer, and just just suddenly have some dream realization from the drugs. It's like, what if we actually have human creators, which use and they are from gods, and they created us and the aliens. Let's put it in the Alien franchise.
Yeah, that's really the biggest thing. Alien going to a point where, yeah, Prometheus is practically God, uh, and all that stuff. I really hate when they do stuff like. I mean, this isn't like a surprise, but like it really devalues like the specialness of the first film in the sense that like, oh, they went to this planet to explore something. They actually and they found a xenomorph. It's not an accident now. It's like, no, that was destiny, uh, which is really stupid.
I mean, that's one of the many things that's really stupid about this. About
Yeah, I mean, and I remember
yeah,
Prometheus was kind of okay for the first half from what I remember.
And
But
it's
then
like
it's like once they started connecting it to Alien, that's when it got really terrible.
it's so weird because the first half is literally just nothing happened.
And then Covenant is just nonsense.
Yeah, it's like Prometheus is just a lot of questions that they don't try to answer anything. It's like, who is a guy cool? Hey, do you remember there's a scene there that the Idris Elba was supposed to be monitoring the two people who got lost on the planet because they are fucking stupid. For even though they have like highly advanced trackers, scanners and shit. And then he was like, "Hey, Charles Theron, do you want to fuck?"
Yeah, yeah. The whole thing with the alien the xenomorph was created because of some black goo gets in a coffee and then the guy fucks Elizabeth Shaw.
Yeah. I mean, at least Shaw. I was like, I mean, yeah. I mean, at least I don't think Shaw it's that stupid compared to everyone in that ship. I mean, until the ending was like she just like, yeah, I'm just gonna leave and explore the things. It's like, dude, you have no resource, no ships. You don't even understand what's happening here. You don't even understand how the other ships work. You just have the. It's like, was Michael Fassbender had to help you. Just go back to Earth, you dumbass.
Yeah, yeah. My big thing about this. So going back to Romulus now, Romulus is set after Alien. So technically, you could do a story. It's kind of hard in terms of like everything seems to be tight knit in terms of like what things are known in this universe. And honestly, it's just one of those examples of yeah, let's make a horror franchise out of something that clearly doesn't need a franchise. But that's been a long-standing problem for a lot of horror-related franchise. Freddy Krueger,
A Nightmare on
Jason,
Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street, yeah,
Yeah.
Halloween. I mean, obviously, Alien is different. With the whole sci-fi aspect as well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. I mean, the Predator. I think I like the Predator franchise more than this now. I was like, fuck. I mean, if you at least Prey was an. It's like, at least Prey is much better than this film.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I
and
don't. Even, yeah,
mhm.
actually, I don't even hate that Predator franchise. Like, I just do not like the Predator. Like,
Yeah, the Predator was the bad one for sure. The other
yeah,
ones are
that's.
like okay, like pretty good too. Okay,
Yeah, I mean, the first Predator is amazing, of course.
yeah, yeah. Honestly, like my thing about Alien, Predator, even Terminator is like I think these are like when people say, "Oh, grounded cannot be fantastical and all this stuff," or you can't have fantasy and grounded stuff. These films are pretty grounded. Terminator, uh, you know, Alien and Predator for sure. Like everything is like
Yeah.
taken pretty seriously, and it's even though they're like hugely sci-fi related material. So I never really agreed with that sentiment that you can't have fantasy and grounded stuff, but that's a conversation for a different topic. But yeah, Alien Romulus. So basically, it just had the task of you know let's try to bring Alien back to its roots. Because
That's
the
never a
franchise
good.
has been kind of all over the place with the
That
whole gods and stuff.
that's never a good thing, but sure.
Yeah. So basically the plot takes place on a different like on a star system or something like that.
The Wayland Corporation mining field. Fuck.
Yeah, and it's a so it's like 65 light years away from Earth. So there's definitely civilization outside of Earth, which was known before, to be fair. Um, so they were saying like, that place has like a population of over 2,000, and then there is zero sunlight as well.
2000 for a planet? Seriously?
Yeah, it's like I guess it's not crazy. I know like there was like that conversation, having no sunlight is kind of like not good to live in. But it does seem like they have electricity and stuff, so I guess you could assume there's like nuclear power that
And
can at least sustain them. And
I
it's
just
like
re-
sustaining 2,000 people is a little bit easier than our planet with 8 billion. We
how
can't
does
do that for
how
sure.
do you have 2,000 people on the planet? Just only 2,000 people on the planet.
I guess it's like I guess it's like that, when back when Elon Musk promised that we'll be on Mars in 10 years, 12 years ago. Uh, so
Sure,
I guess something like that.
Elon.
Uh, but yeah, So this is where our ragtag team of people
I mean,
are
I guess they're
all here.
characters.
Yeah, honestly, because I remember one thing that you were saying prior to the whole thing is like, why would the government send like 20-year-olds? To be fair, that's not what happened. Um, though the way that this happened is still pretty stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
so yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So the kid, Katie, Spaney, and Andy, the robots. They were supposed to work here, and they just had to. And so the day they are about to leave, the cashier was like, whatever the fuck that is. It's like, oh sorry, we doubled the runtime. You have to work for 6 more years for
Yeah, it's
12
like
more
you
hours,
had to do.
12,000 more hours.
Yeah, it was like I already completed my hours. Like, no, we actually had to double them. So it's like instead of 12,000, you have to do 24,000.
Yeah.
Something like
What
that.
one of my friend was like, they calculated. It was like, okay, so you just need to work for 40 hours a week, less than 40 hours a week. Where it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I think that's plausible. But at the
Yeah,
same time,
you know.
that's like fucking 6 years. Holy shit, people should be rebelling you. It's like an Andor. It's like, oh fuck. When everyone realized that they're never going away, it was like, yeah, everyone should be rebelling.
Uh, so she didn't really. She wasn't really doing that. But the convenience is that when they're on their way to go to the mines. So okay, so I guess some things about Andy is that he is an android that is like he's a little annoying in terms of his characterization. I don't really think the actor did a great job. Um, I think once, like, the thing is, like, once he was reprogrammed, I think he does a little bit better when he's more serious. But, like, when he has to do this, like, oh, woe is me, like, pity me, or I am too weak, like, it's not really, he doesn't really do it well, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, but outside of that, is like, I think the dynamic between Rain and Andy was, like, pretty interesting. Um, or at least that was like the thing that I was connecting to more in the first half of the film.
To be fair, that's the only thing you connect to. I could not name a character. I could not even tell the other characters.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah.
To be honest, I don't even think you remember the name of the Asian girl.
Oh, I do Navarro, but still,
Yeah.
but yeah, she sucked too. But we'll get to that. Yeah, so they go to the they go back to the mines for work, but their friends, Tyler, who's like an ex boyfriend of Rain, his cousin Bjorn, who's like comically evil, and Tyler's pregnant sister Kay, and then Bjorn's girlfriend Navarro. They're like all there, and they want to escape to like the planet Yaga, where basically there's like sunlight and stuff like that. So yeah, they eventually
Wait,
there's like a bit back and forth. It's like, we don't really need you, Rain. We just need Andy for the
wait. We need to tell them the plan for what happened first before people can understand what are we talking about.
yeah. Go
Uh,
ahead.
so, here's the thing. In the opening shot, the scientists goes to the wreckage from Alien, which got nuked 3 times, and found an alien that got ejected from outer space, not near the space station, and they use it to experiments. And they bring that alien to that space station, just drifting onto your planet. What are the odds of that?
Oh, you mean like the opening text
Yeah,
stuff? Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, for one, that's just somehow the alien return,
Right. Okay. Yeah, I
and
understand now.
and then
Uh,
the destroyed space station is just floating right next to your planet. It's like, fuck, space is really big.
yeah, we'll get to that. But like, I think one of my things about it is like, I guess they were never very clear. Is it the same alien from Alien, or is it like a similar one? Because like obviously the
Oh,
wiki is very unclear. It says a xenomorph, but is it the xenomorph? We don't know.
I think that that's
But I
just
think
you.
it's supposed to be the xenomorph from Alien, which is
Yeah.
plot breaking because first off, the Nostromo. So what happened to the Nostromo in Alien Unity?
So it got nuked like 3 times.
Yeah, Ripley for sure blew it up.
Yep.
Blew
In
it up,
compar in
and she
com
had to go in the escape pod to escape.
yeah.
But yeah,
In comparison, Palpatine only got nuked 2 times.
yeah, and then the alien does go after Ripley when she's in the escape pod, but then she fires a grappling hook into the alien so it can knock into space, and then yeah, it floats out into space. And honestly, like my thing is like I don't. Why did you have to make it the Nostromo for this thing? Is like why couldn't you have a different space station? The Romulus space station. That, but I mean, obviously the contrivance is like, oh wow, another space station is like very close to Nostromo, and you didn't call for help. But then there's, I don't know, the location and the timing of like Alien and Aliens is like makes no sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, they just wanted. It's clearly because of this. Do you remember Alien?
Yeah, and it's like honestly, like I don't feel like the references were like heavy handed per se, but like I mean, obviously they do introduce a character, which I think is kind of ridiculous. Why they brought him in, which we'll get
Do
to.
you remember Alien? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's okay. So that's the setup. Do you want to hear the plan?
Well, so the plan is not complicated because they're not trying to go on an adventure like this. They're just trying to get off the planet and go to another planet where life is better. So it's like, okay, fine. So they go up out of
And
the atmosphere.
they just stole a ship.
Yeah, and there was
It,
no resistance or anything. So I guess this is normal.
it was like, whoa, okay, so 2,700 people should be stealing ships now.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, so they just go out into space. There's no resistance or anything. So it kind of like, okay, so I guess it wasn't that hard to get off planet. Because like it just kind of contradicts the opening scene because like they wanted to go to Yaga, by means of legal transportation, and that was when the no, you had to work till 2,400 hours in order to do that. But then they go on a ship anyway, and no resistance. Okay, I guess. And then yeah, they're out in space, and this is where Rain gets to see sunlight for the first time. So there is sun on this star system, but like it just apparently this civilization doesn't have access to the sun, which is a little weird. I guess the planet doesn't rotate, or I guess it does, but like it's just never in the presence of sunlight. I don't know how
Or
it
just so
works.
cloudy, I guess. That's
Or
I
it's so
guess.
cloudy, yeah, something like that. Yeah, it doesn't really make that much sense. But yeah, but we never really go back to that planet again, so who cares?
Yeah, I mean and also the fact that was like, dude, even doesn't Wayland, the super evil corporation that discovered space travel and synthetic humans should be scavenging the ship before the kids.
Yeah, so and that's kind of what kind of leads us into this. So they go out into space, and then all of a sudden they look out the window and they see that a space station, part of a space station, is hurling towards their planet. But it's no, it's still like out of orbit. It's like orbiting the planet basically. And yeah, so they're like, let's maybe there's fuel there's because we're gonna need it. Because I think the thing is like, if they want to go to Yaga, they have to like go into cryo sleep for like 3 days. But the thing is, they only have enough fuel
Right?
for like half of that time.
No, they have to eject the cryo sleep to the ship. There's a scene that's like they just eject the cryo pod into space and into the ship. It's like fucking. They have still cryopods.
Yeah, yeah. But I think the problem is like they don't have enough fuel to go all the way to that planet. So that's why they had to go to the conveniently placed Nostromo. Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't really understand what's going on.
To be honest, they just and then it's like okay, so they have to go into the door, but like they have a plan. They were like, we just got break in. We just gotta assume we have the codes. We don't have a backup plan, by the way, because once they gone into the door, it's like, oh, the plan doesn't work. Bye.
Yeah,
Until
so Andy can like open some doors, but then there's like other doors he can't open. He needs like an android that has that clearance to open specific doors.
what a weird system. You can open the front door, but it's like you can't open every other doors. But fuck it, sure.
Yeah, I guess like the one thing I can give leeway for is like at least there's some level of like, okay, I guess you could do some things, but you can't do everything. Then they have to
Mm,
figure out a way. It feels like a video game in that sense,
yeah,
which is kind of like my thing about this film. It does feel like a video game at times.
yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of which, there is a video game set after the first film, Alien Isolation. So there's that,
Oh, that's canon, by the way.
which is also canon. I heard people like it though. To be fair, I haven't
Yeah,
played it to know.
yeah, that's what I heard as well. So they crawl through the really tight air fans. Why don't they just go through the door?
They'll be expecting that, as Buzz Lightyear says.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, and then they just found a crawlpod. It's just right there. Fuck it, sure. And I was watching the size of the crawlpod. I was like, dude, those are from Alien Covenants. I mean, it's just the same prototype. It doesn't have any connection so far. It's just like, oh well, because
Yeah, and that's kind of my problem with this whole film in general is that it feels like the sets are really big because, it's 2024, so the production sets will be way bigger than what it was back in 1979. Okay, but like you have to kind of contribute the fact that in 1979 the sets were really small for that particular reason. So it doesn't really make sense like why is there so many big hangars and big spaces and like all this stuff. And then it's like, you know, so when they fly to the station, uh it's abandoned. It's abandoned except for all of the aliens that are in it, which we'll get to, and also a half destroyed android. Uh, so, which and then you have a few character moments, quote unquote, where the cousin is like super. Well, let's flat out just say racist to Andy.
No, seriously,
Um,
she just meant she's mentioned. Do you remember that really amazing dialogues?
yeah,
It's like something along like the I have balls. You don't have balls. Do you want to suck my balls? No, seriously. He literally mentioned it 3 times.
yeah. I look. I get it. The cousin is supposed to be a dick, but like that's all he is. Um, there's like no chance for sympathy or like trying to redeem him or anything like that. And then then something happens to him, and then it's like, oh, okay, but we'll get to that.
Hmm.
But yeah, they're inside, they're exploring. Uh, you got these comments between the cousin and Andy. There's like one line that I did kind of like is like when Navarro was asking Rain is like like about like her connection to Andy because like Andy is programmed to protect Rain by her father. Um, and then you know the whole thing is like because there's this whole thing is like if once we get in there we won't be able to take you out, so we'd have to leave you behind. And then
Yeah.
Andy thinks about it and he's like, okay, if that's what Rain wants, then I'm fine with that. And then Rain obviously gets emotional, and then that was like the most interesting thing I got out of it, which is why I was like, okay, this movie's not that bad so far. Kind of weird how we got here, but like it's not that bad.
Hmm.
But then we'll get to it. Um,
Yeah. Oh my lord.
yeah, so they go around, then they get to a point where they find an android,
Uh.
um, which we don't know whose face it is yet, so we'll not get to that yet.
Yeah. But by
Um,
the way, I just want to mention something because we just point out because
mhm.
one time Isabel Mercy was like tell the Nafara was like don't touch anything after she just picked up an X-ray device. And but when
uh,
she's literally just
is it
touching another robot.
Isabella's asleep on the ship.
No,
It's
okay, another
Kaylee.
character. Yeah,
Kaylee. Yeah.
Kaylee was like she's just touching another robot. It's like she just literally just touching not the robot we gotta talk about later, another robot, and she did tell the Farah was
That's still later because the boys get locked in a cryo chamber.
fuck.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they get locked in, and then Kaylee, because like Kaylee, all the girls were like hanging out in the original ship, because I guess boys go out and girls stay behind. Fine, I guess.
Based.
Yeah, and then they get locked in because like Andy tries to open the door, but it says that he doesn't have the clearance to open it when he
Dude,
steps in.
because the fields are put on the other side of the ship instead of just near the cryopods. The
Yeah.
field for the cryopods are put
Yeah.
on the other side of the ship.
So yeah, the cousins, they find the fuel that they're looking for, but because they try to open it, it sets off an alarm, and then not only it sets off an alarm, it raises the temperature,
What?
uh, so that causes the things inside the cryo chamber to aliving themselves.
Uh, yeah, sure. Fuck it. Instead of just put it in a box or something, I put it in a shelf. Just something just in case the ice melts. It's like yeah,
No, they're like in packets, like like
yeah,
uh like on the walls, and like horror film tropes and all that stuff. So
yeah.
that's because they're locked in. Then Kaylee and Navarro have to come out, and they have to try and rescue them. um then that scene happens where they come in contact with that android
Oh,
thing,
my
but
first,
like
yeah, my first
it's
question is like,
alive, by the way. But
it's so weird. It's like because my first question is like, why don't everyone just break the glass? No one tried to break the glass, so it's like,
actually, so Kaylee does try with
after
the fire extinguisher, but
it's like just tell the robot to break the glass. Literally, that robot can stop an elevator crashing down with one hand while it's hanging on the side.
yeah, that's true. I didn't think. Well, to be To be fair, at the beginning of the movie, I didn't think about it, but like now that I watched the full movie, now it's like when you rewatch, it's like okay, then why didn't he punch the glass if he's strong enough to hold a whole elevator?
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, that android is alive. So we'll get back to it though. It'll be plot relevant soon. And yeah, so they try to open the glass. It's not working, but then all of a sudden something falls into the water, and it's a face hugger. And yeah, the face hugger is, little horror tropes like what's going on over there, that kind of thing. And then it happens, and then everybody's scared, and yeah. So yeah, the face huggers are there. By the way, this whole thing is Romulus and Remus space station, so that's why it's called Alien Romulus. Uh,
It's like Prometheus. It's like where it's like they just want the god symbolism and the space engineer and alien just combine together. It's like here are some god references. So here's the name of the ship. That's gonna be a god name. What's the relevance? Fuck no.
it's cool. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
Romulus and Remus are cool names, to be fair, but I don't know.
yeah. Yeah.
That's basically the relevance. But yeah, the frozen face hugger is unfrozen, triggers a lockdown. So after Kaylee knocks out the robot, she pulls a chip out of its head, and then he puts that chip into Andy's
Oh right, that's the scene that
skull.
she just told Nafara to not touch anything while she's touching things.
Yeah. Well, I guess the only thing, to be fair, is that like I guess it's just convenient that there's an android there that has like the security clearance that they're looking for. That just makes everything more convenient when it happens. But yeah, it basically it's given to him. Andy uh, takes a second to reboot, but while he's like rebooting, that's where the alien face hugger is like attacking the cousins. I guess Andy is fine though. But I guess to be fair, aliens don't really attack androids like this.
Oh yeah, they
But-
don't worry about it. They won't.
yeah. So while he's rebooting, yeah, the cousins are being attacked, and then eventually gets to a point where Andy saves the day and like pulls the facehugger off, throws it across, uses the new chip to like now open the door, but they couldn't close it in time, so there is one facehugger that gets out of the room and
Yeah.
follows them, and then it goes on to uh,
No.
Navarro's face. And
Yay.
it's at a point where it's like constricting her throat, and they're worried if they pull it off, they're gonna kill Navarro. So, and
Yes.
now Andy's like smarter because of this new chip. So he's like he kind of has an idea of what to do, but like not really sure how to do it. So it's like we need to ask somebody to help us, and he's in this room right now. The
Wow. The
android.
odds, the fucking odds of that. You remember that locked in the room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they pick up the android, and they turn it on, and it's AI CGI Ian Holmes.
Oh, yeah. Why?
Oh, but don't worry, he's not Ash. It's another one named Rook. And it's like, okay,
You're literally just acting like Ash, but sure. And now I was like, do you remember in Alien that Ash being a robot is a twist?
yeah, but like my other thing too is like, okay, so Ash was like decapitated, so it's like, okay, if this is Ash, this is not a decapitated robot. The robot's head is connected to the body and all that stuff. So, oh, but it's not him. It's Rook, and it's like, oh, okay, but so I guess there's like a twin. But it's like at that point, just make a different android.
Yeah,
Like
I was like,
you didn't have to bring him back,
uh,
especially when Ian Holmes passed away.
yeah, and everyone was like, yeah, we got CGI that people again. Is that cool? Yeah, we laughed at what they do in the Flash, right? Hey, do you clap when you see the Flash and just like, and clearly no one just posted on Twitter was like, this is so stupid, this is so disrespectful, and you post it on an actress suicide date.
Yeah, the Flash was a yeah.
Yeah,
In this case, like Alvarez did like talk about like the whole like we had the conversation with the family, we let them know, we had another actor like play the scenes out, and they did all the deep fake and all this stuff, the voiceover stuff like that. So it's like there was like all these steps and things. It still doesn't really justify it, in my opinion, or a lot of people's opinion, in terms of like why this was necessary. And honestly, like it kind of makes things a little worse because, well, this whole thing about the Nostromo in general is like, okay, that thing should have exploded in the first place. And then if this is like the Romulus station, or it got to a point where the scientists were like looking into the xenomorph that was from Alien One. Then I guess there was an attack that pretty much killed everybody. Um, and then uh, wow, it's like another space station just goes through this problem like 20 years after the Nostromo incident. What are the odds? And it
yeah,
happens to be the same alien from the first movie. Okay, cool.
yeah. It's also
And
Ian
then
Holmes.
this space station also has an Ian Holmes android. Okay.
I was like-
At
and of
that point,
course,
just get Bishop back
yeah, or just get Michael Fassbender.
or Michael Fassbender,
Yeah, like because
or just
because
make a new one. There's no reason why it had to be.
yeah, I was like because yeah,
Honestly, actually, Michael Fassbender would be a little bit better because clearly, like they want like some kind of nostalgia value
yeah.
for the android character to come back. But I think the better solution probably is to just have the face disintegrated.
Or just a different
Like
actor. Just yeah,
use a different actor, or just like use a like Terminator style, like the skeleton kind of thing.
yeah. But I don't
Because
even
his
know.
face is supposed to be melted off by acid anyway, so that would have
Yeah,
made sense.
yeah. And now it's just we're just looking at this uncanny valley on screen. Was like, dude, he looks like a Muppet.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
of course, it's like Alien is like, oh, there's a twist, no one in crew knows that, and now you just establish, oh, actually, it's standard protocol. It's like, motherfucker, how do you not know that?
So the only thing I can give a little leeway to, so this isn't exactly the Nostromo. It's a different station. So that's kind of where this whole thing is. So it's not like, so the people in Aliens not knowing is like, okay, I guess it's like it's pretty convenient that nobody knows about the stuff about Prometheus. But again, we're getting to that. Um, so, but it's like I guess like the only leeway you can give is like I guess all the secrets died with the people in Romulus, uh, which is
No, no,
super
which is
convenient.
not even the case. It's like,
Yeah,
I'll
it's
get to it at the
difficult
end.
because yeah,
They literally, because
there's
at
too
the end,
much. There's too much to say.
there's like, because at the end there's a line just broke it. It's like, but fuck it, let's just go.
Yeah, so Rook is the not Ash basically. And they have this conversation about how to get rid of the facehugger on Navarro's face. He says that it's pretty much over. I mean, there is a way to save her, but like that probably is not going to mean much. Um, but so basically, what they decide to do is like they take a cryo stick and like freeze the tail, and that's what knocks the facehugger off of Navarro's face. And that's how it got rid of the facehugger.
Even though it's like, even though the line in Alien was like, that if you rip it off, they would tear your face off.
Yeah, it's like it has acid. Yeah. And then even then, it's like I'm pretty sure in all these other films, like that's not how you get rid of a face hugger.
Yeah, and just because no one was like, oh fuck, we can use frozen stuff and just froze it.
And honestly, that was like another thing too. Is like Aliens, the second film. That was the one where you actually saw the face hugger move. It's never looked as good since that movie in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like every time they use the face huggers moving forward, it's like they just look really bad.
Yeah,
I guess
that
James Cameron just knew what to do.
beforehand, like a long time ago.
Yep. Well, yeah. So that gets rid of the face hugger. Navarro seems to be fine, but then something bad happens. Uh, so this is a point where um, this is the point where they like. So Rook is like saying it's probably already. I think it's already over. Um, and then he also kind of makes some other explanations too. It's like what happened to the station. So we had this. We captured this alien species, and it caused a havoc. And then where is it? And it's like points up. There's a dead alien hanging from the ceiling, and it's like dripping acid blood down to the ground. So that's why there's a lot of holes in the ground. Um. So yeah,
Yay.
and yeah, that's
Ugh.
the alien from the first film.
Hey, you just survive all of this.
Yeah, and another thing too is like it's made a lot of face huggers, I guess. And then enough to the point where the Romulus team has like a whole like collection of face huggers and cryo chambers and stuff like that. And it's like again, you got to remember in the context of the first film, it felt like everything that happened on LV 862, I think. I might be wrong on that number. On that planet, everything was like an accident in that sense of like, oh, Kane touches the egg and then it gets on his face, and then then everything that alien happens that happens. It makes me feel like everything just happened like on a chance of exploring a planet, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then that's the story. But then because of Prometheus and Covenant making it all about destiny and stuff like that, now we got to make all these films related to that, which again we're getting to.
Yeah. Ugh.
But yeah, it's just so convenient that there's like another in the 20 years there's another space station circling around the space, and then it's like Star Wars.
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
there's always force. Yeah, there's always like a super weapon that's gonna destroy the planets.
Yeah. Yeah, and then this alien like from Alien 1 caused a havoc in our space station 2. That happened all off screen, which fine, I guess. Uh yeah, so it was abandoned. It was like drifting out into space. I guess nobody was as smart as Ripley from the first movie, so there's that. But yeah. So Tyler's like not Tyler. Andy's like, okay, I think we need to leave Navarro behind because she's already a danger. But obviously Bjorn, because that's his girlfriend, which honestly I didn't even know that until I read the Wikipedia. Uh, he's doing his racist thing again,
I was like,
and
instead of just like, okay, wait, what the fuck do you mean? It's like they just ask us like, and he will be like, oh,
no,
maybe I just.
he's saying that, but then he pulls out like a taser.
Oh,
And
I mean
he's
instead
like,
of
"What do
him.
you mean?" And then pokes him with it. It's like, okay,
Yeah, I was like, yeah, what? Instead of just asking him for more details, like, nah,
like
you're gonna kill her.
he's like annoyingly aggressive, and it's like again, it's a personality trait, I guess. But yeah, it's just like okay. So this whole time, Isabella Merced's character is like asleep on the station because she's pregnant. Fair enough. It's just kind of funny to me because now you're gonna have her play Dina in The Last of Us season 2, and where she's also pregnant, and then she doesn't get to do much because she is pregnant.
And she's got to kill her baby, and she's got to endanger her baby, just like in this movie. Which
They
her baby, yeah,
the to be fair part is like I guess like they didn't plan on going into this ship in the first place, and she didn't plan on being in this
yeah,
danger to begin with. Compared to Dina, where Dina actually knew about what was going on, she knew where she was going, she knew what was happening, she knew the risk, and she still did it anyway. For this character Kay, I guess there's like the leeway of she didn't know she was going to be in danger until it happened. So there's that.
yeah.
There is still some funny similarities. I'll get to that later. But yeah, basically Navarro and so Bjorn he locks everybody his own brother, his own cousin Tyler, Kaylee, and
And,
Andy
and
behind back
remember
in
this.
Romulus, and they
Remember
go
this guy
off
only.
the ship. Hmm.
Remember this guy only hates robots. He doesn't hate humans. So he just basically sent them to die.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so they get left behind. Kay, not Kay. Bjorn, Navarro go back into the ship. Uh, Navarro's like kind of freaking out, which honestly, my question was like, where? Then Bjorn just leaves. It's like, oh, you made all this effort to save her, and you're not even by her side. Um, when all this stuff is happening, and then that's when like Kay wakes up. So Kay is like completely unaware of everything that's going on. She did not see the alien. She did not see the facehugger. She did not see the xenomorph. She did not see anything. So she has no context as to what's going on. And all of a sudden, like Navarro's like convulsing, like she feels like something's gonna is like attacking her in the inside. Apparently, she stole the X-ray device, and she uh, puts it on her back, and like they see that there's something in her chest. Uh, and then
You're
Kay's
kidding. Yeah.
yeah,
I was like, my God, you only got impregnated for 3 minutes. Okay, in comparison from it's like John Hurt from the first movie,
yeah,
he got
right.
he got impregnated for hours, and it took him like days in order until a chest burster just came out.
Yeah, yeah. And then I remember Resurrection also had like a long time where the one character, like they even shot him like a bunch of times. It wasn't working. Um, the guy with the glasses, I don't remember.
Yes.
That was a long time ago. But yeah, she got a chest burster come out in like 3 minutes.
Uh, was a 3 minute. Fuck! You just broke the entire. You just broke the first movie again.
Yeah,
Was like,
early bird stream. Yeah.
yeah,
We kind of have a busy afternoon today, so we wanted to go early today. I like the
yeah.
first part of
That's
the movie. That's all. I just don't get what spaceship they found. I've read the Nostromo, but it blew up, and why this didn't the corporation? Yeah, it's like so the part that I also agree. I like the first part in sections. There's some dumb stuff here and there, but like it's all right. It's like passable based on what we had. But like apparently this is a brand new space station. Like so basically the Romulus they were they just happened to drift off into space and they found the destruction of the Nostromo and the xenomorph from the first film drifting out into space, which is like, oh, that's super convenient how all that happened. And then apparently off screen, the xenomorph causes a havoc to the same Romulus station where everybody has evacuated or died. Um, that's kind of like that's that's kind of like the general thing. So it's like it's not really the Nostromo that they're hanging around in, but like they just happen to find the remains of that, which doesn't really make sense.
yeah. It's like it's so weird. It
The best
just.
part of the movie is when you saw the wheels under the face. Okay, yeah, yeah, I saw somebody mention that as well. Oh yeah. Um, they put the shot in the trailer a lot. To be fair, Isabella does a fantastic job when the chestburster comes out and she lets out like a blood curdling scream. She does a really good job with that.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. So Navarro dies. Didn't really care. And then the chestburster runs out. Kay is like knocked unconscious because so the ship they're on it like turned something and then it crashes inside the Romulus ship, which apparently is like that sudden action is causing the Romulus ship to like go even closer to the planetary rings of Jackson.
and then it just crashes back inside another hangar bay. I
Yeah,
what
yeah,
what are the odds of all of this?
yeah, and then like so she's like knocked unconscious this whole time, and the alien, the chest burster doesn't like do anything. I guess. Okay, I guess. Um, and Bjorn is like gone. Oh yeah, Bjorn, the funny part is like Bjorn like he's like trying to escape or something. Again, it's like you put all this effort into saving Navarro and she died and you didn't even know. And then he just like falls and breaks his leg. It's like, okay, I guess that's his punishment.
Yeah, and then he just saw a face hugger egg. Like not because it just have because in the first movie it just appeared its skin and now it just like cocoon on the wall. Uh, uh,
Hello, Rangi. Yeah, today's a
yeah,
little early because we're a little busy in the afternoon today. But yeah.
yeah, true. And yeah, so the thing just cocoons on the wall. I don't know, maybe because the alien Covenant Prometheus just fuck the alien lore so much that they can they can always just go fuck it, but at the same time they just don't. I don't know. They play fast and loose when it comes to staying consistent with Alien.
Yeah. So yeah, now the characters are divided into like two parts. Team Tyler, Rain, and
Andy,
Andy, and then Kay and
Boring.
Bjorn on the other side. Um, so basically, what happens next?
Oh yeah. So
Let,
I just
let's
want.
let's talk about that. Let's talk about that death first, because it's really funny. So yeah, Kay eventually wakes up after being knocked out for a while. She starts to explore because again, remember she had no context of what was going on in the ship because she was like resting in the ship earlier. So she has no idea about the alien. She has no idea about what happened on Nostromo. She doesn't know anything about these things. So it's like she's just kind of like in the dark of everything. I don't know why I feel bad for her throughout this movie. Um, but yeah, I'll get to that in a second.
By the way, I
So
just want to realize.
go
Just want
ahead.
to say something funny. It's not a problem. It's just nitpick. So we're watching the movie like in my server like a few days ago,
Hmm.
and during that scene we just saw the space station with the outside roads warning field.
Yeah. Yeah, so she goes around. Things are scary. Things are happening. But then eventually she comes across in the hallway where the chest burster has chosen a place to start forming its adult self. So the giant pussy thing. Uh, and Bjorn, who's like limping at this point, uh, he's like, okay, so instead of leaving it alone, he pulls out his taser again, and then he jabs it into the space pussy, and tries to electrocute it, but because acid, it melts the stick, and then so so then he's like being hit by the acid blood drip that's falling onto his body, and rather than trying to roll, so I don't know how he got on his back to begin with, but he got on his back. Then the blood is starting to drip onto him, and then all of a sudden, like he instead of like trying to roll, he's just accepting the acid drops to his body, and that's how he dies.
Yeah, isn't that so cool? He died by dripping acid.
Yeah, it's like the alien is not even alive yet. Like it hasn't came out of its. So yeah,
Yeah.
so he couldn't just roll away. I mean, he's burning by acid, sure, but like he could have done something. But yeah, a stupid death for a stupid character. So there's that. So
And
yeah, and then the other funny part was like, Kay. So so this is something we don't even learn in the movie. We learn this because of Alvarez saying it online. Like apparently the baby that she's pregnant with is actually from Bjorn, who is her cousin. But you know, I guess things are tough with incest and all.
yeah, it's
But
House of the Dragon shit.
yeah, and then right. So, but like, it's just a little funny because like her cousin, the father of her baby, uh, just died, and she can't really, she doesn't really do anything. Like she's like still scared and all, but like it's just kind of funny because it reminds me of Dina, who she's gonna play as soon, where Jesse dies as well,
Mm.
and they don't mention that at all. Like the baby of her father is like dead, but we'll talk about that baby in a second. Kay is one of the worst written characters I've seen in a while, and was nothing more than a punching bag threat. Honestly, that's
Yeah,
why I felt bad for her because like she was like a punching bag for the whole film.
did basically nothing,
She did
and she
nothing as well. Yeah, but like the main thing for me is like it's really weird how all of this just happened because let's try to get fuel from this space station, and then they decide to get themselves tied up with the alien stuff, and then rather than just like listening to Andy's command, like saying Andy and Rook both saying, "Don't bring Navarro into the ship; she's going to die, or she's going to cause more danger." And then Bjorn is like racist, so no. And then he brings Navarro to the ship, and that's causes the entire plot to happen. Yeah, so one stupid decision leads to the plot. So yeah, but yeah, but the main thing is like I just felt bad for Kay because like she didn't really know anything that was going on. She just had to. She was forced into it when it didn't have to happen.
yeah.
Plus, Isabella Merced is hot, so there's that.
Mm. And so yeah, so do we need to talk about this like the intercutting scene before we talk about
Yeah, go ahead.
what happened later? So Andy, the guy from Shadow and Bones and the Jetty, and Katie Spainley walks through a hallway, and there's a bunch of facehuggers, like a video game. So their plan is to turn it into um, room
So
temperature.
yeah, so the reason
Yes.
why facehuggers attack is because they can detect warmer body signatures because they can't see. So it's like, oh, if you make the room the same temperature, then they won't be able to sense the humans in it if they walk quietly and calmly. Also, don't sweat. Okay, okay, I guess it's a
Mm.
lot of parameters. Um, but yeah, then so they start raising the temperature, and because Kay is like alone, so clearly scared of everything going on. She calls
But
her
by the way,
brother.
they can't make a sound. We have to mention that they can't make a sound.
They weren't
Even
supposed to make a sound either, but yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, she calls her brother, and then Tyler's like instructing her how to, because like, so the xenomorph is starting to get out of its cocoon, um, and Kay is like terrified, um, but like she's not able to open the door, so she calls her brother, who so he's like saying is like look for a key, and the key was on the ground, Okay, so like, if the key was on the ground, I'm sure you didn't have to call. It's like it's unnecessary. It's like that's the punching bag part, like as Douglas was saying. But yeah,
Yeah, like, and then it was like, and if the key is on the ground, it was like, no, all he says is like, just look around. I was like, what the fuck? Don't even call her if that's all you need to say.
yeah, and it's like it's kind of, and yeah, that's what leads to the tension of like now they're talking now that the facehuggers are like aware of the presence of the people in the hallway with Kaylee, Andy, and Tyler. So it's like then he drips a bead of sweat and it's like Andy's like run and they all run. Yeah, so it's a video game level basically.
Hey, isn't that so cool? Video, isn't that so cool? Even though I do not understand why is the facehuggers only in this area, it's not the entire ship, but fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's kind of weird too because they have another scene with Kay and Tyler together where they do the tension thing as well. So it's like so I guess you just do it twice. For that reason, it's a little dumb. Uh, and sometimes like I guess like just a tangent, but like I feel like sometimes these scenes are kind of made for the sake of like, oh, we want this actor or actress to do something really serious or something like that, like tension filled. So like we just want to take advantage of that. But then again, it's like that's kind of the problem where she's like written where
Yeah.
she's detached from the entire group for most of the film. That too.
Mm.
But yeah, yeah.
So she.
But before we get into that lab, she eventually
She.
does make her way.
Do you remember how? She just runs through the ship and drops 20 feet and hit her head twice.
Yeah. Oh, there's like turbulence or something.
Yeah, that's how she hit her head twice.
Yeah, and she was knocked out, and then eventually the xenomorph is like stalking her. Um, and then eventually she gets to the door, and then
By the way, and also she's wet. Just want to mention that she's wet. The water just spray on her.
that's good. That's good. That's good.
Hmm.
Yeah. So she gets to the door, and then eventually Tyler's at the door too, and he's telling Andy to open the door. Andy is about to, but then he sees the xenomorph behind, and he's like, "I can't open the door because it would risk the mission." And then Kaylee's like, "What missions?" Then it turns out that the chip in his head is like changing his directives that he is now loyal to Wayland and Utani.
Yay! I remember that old fuck from Prometheus who dies for wanting to approach a engineer with no protection.
What made me mad most about this film is that Kaylee had the best scene in the last act of the movie, yet it's never thoroughly explained how she. I'll wait till you get to that part, though. Yeah. So yeah, obviously, like Tyler and Rain are both like really trying to get Andy to open the door. He's not doing it. Kay eventually gets to a point where she is taken by the xenomorph. Taken, killed, not sure yet. But yeah. Then
Yay! Yeah. She. By the way, the xenomorph just stabbed her in the chest. So keep that in mind.
I think it was like upper shoulder. I think.
Yeah, it's weird because and then the shot later is literally just in her left side of the chest. It's like fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. So Andy has because of Andy's like programming, he has no sympathy or for what happened to Kay, and it's like you could have because like obviously like there was like the chance that they could have saved Kay without having the xenomorph attack. It's like I guess it made sense in that regard.
I mean,
But
I think it could be cool, but all they say is, "I won't open the door," and they're like, "Please open the door." It's like holy shit, you can say a lot more than that. Like they could say, "It's like Just open the door. I will fight them off myself.
I love that bit. Tyler pleading and begging Andy was good acting. Yeah, I liked the tension there. Xena was just sitting there waiting. Yeah.
I mean, that's moment's fine. I was like, I just wish there were more. It's like because all they say is open the door, and then it was like, I won't open the door. Oh, I mean, you can say
Yeah,
more.
but I think it's like another thing that I wanted to compare with Alien 1 and this movie too is like I don't know, it's like a problem with like a lot of horror movies nowadays is like there's like so much focus on the soundtrack or like the music to make tension happen. I'm sorry, Dave. I cannot do that. Yeah. Yeah, it's like Alien is like very good at using the silence. And a lot of horror movies in the past are like really good at knowing when to use silence as the tension filled part and like rely on the acting and the silence of the scene. Whereas like nowadays, like a lot of modern horror movies, they use a lot of music, bombastic or like scary sounding music to make it scary. And I don't know, it's just that art of like horror movies in general that feels missing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. So they decide to. So I don't remember why did they go to that lab in the first place. I think I know
guess it
Rook is like talking to them via the cameras here and there. So
yeah.
there's always like a CCTV like everywhere at some point so that he can show his CGI face. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Not the best to spend 18 million on.
Yeah, the chains, the silence, and Brett search for Jonesy per attention. Mm-hmm. But yeah, eventually they eventually go down to the lab, and this is where they find samples of a compound scientists have extracted from the xenomorphs, and then Rook explains what they were doing this whole time. And what was that, Unity?
The black girl from Prometheus and Alien Covenant. That's right, they cloned the xenomorph, like the facehuggers, and extract black goo. But you see, but they could be artificial black goo. Wow, in this movie, those fuckers shows a hologram that shows a container of the black goo that can only be found in Prometheus.
Yeah, and they call it the Prometheus fire.
Fuck. Yeah.
With the intent to create the perfect human. So yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, I know you guys hate Prometheus and Alien Covenant. So do I. I hated it. But it's like, here's what happened in Prometheus, because way after they literally said, we do not find anything in the Prometheus shit ever. We're like blah 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 blah. It's so stupid, but it's like they can't find. We are not gonna there's nothing here. It's just a lot of nonsense. And in Alien Covenant, they were like, oh yeah, we didn't bother to find it for some reason. Don't get me, even though they should, because the CEO of Wayland Corporation is right there, and they should be sending an investigation team. But no, they just like, yeah, he's. We're just gonna be like, no, yeah, we're not gonna investigate. So because if they investigate, they gonna broke the entire franchise even more. Because then the human will have access to whatever the fuck the black goo and the human engineers are. In this movie, they're like, we actually did. We found the black goo. We found the engineer shit. And I was like, you broke the entire human civilization. You give human the most powerful weapons to ever exist. The thing to just kill all the engineers and create like clone snakes, poison acids. Actually, I do not understand the black goo. What is that? It's like, and they have
basically like if you mix it with the whole thing, it gives you a hybrid of whatever. I don't really understand. Yeah.
Yeah,
The biggest. Yeah.
yeah. It's like because
Yeah. There's
Prometheus.
no way that they would know what samples of Prometheus would look like. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Prometheus ending was like "Don't come here" by Elizabeth Shaw, stupid, and Covenant is like where we didn't come here, all even more stupid. And this movie is like we did came here. You broke the entire universe by literally just give them access to Prometheus technology from the engineer and Black Goo. And in the first Alien, we remember that ship. No one should be surprised now because they were like, "Oh, that's the thing from the thing we saw from Prometheus that we actually received samples from."
So the only thing I can say is that Alien. So this is just the problem with the franchise in general. Alien had this whole thing where it seemed like meeting the xenomorph was an accident, but then obviously the more that the franchise kept going in terms of the prequels, they become like, oh, it was destiny that humans already found the xenomorph before, and that's why they are xenomorphs, which is really stupid, but okay, whatever. But that's like, okay, now they're using Romulus as a way to say that, okay, there are some people in the universe that knows about Xenomorphs, Prometheus, and everything that had to do with each other. So it's like, okay, technically in Alien 1, they didn't know about this, but there are other people in the universe that does know about this. So that's your leeway of, to be fair, the people in Alien 1 just didn't know about Prometheus.
Some
Only
reason.
people at Romulus Station did. That's super convenient. I know that, but like, yeah, that was
Yeah,
their way of combining both franchises into one canon. So yeah.
yeah. That's just the one of the many problems in this. It's like fuck. I was and you just by literally just canonizing Prometheus and not canonizing, just have people know about Prometheus Alien Covenant. So we just
So
like
my
okay, you just broke
yeah.
everything.
So one of my other things too is like, so does Wayland Yutani get used again? In other, I know it's mentioned like throughout, but I'm trying to remember like how it was like mentioned in other movies. I know like AVP used it, and that's not
Yeah,
canon.
that's not canon. Can you say that again? I need to think about it.
It's definitely used for Alien. I mean, like the games have them, and the comics have them as well.
Hmm. It's tough to say. I don't remember Black Gold is in anything.
No, not the book, just the company Wayland Yutani.
Oh, it's in every movie.
Even the first one.
Yeah, the
Okay.
the synthetic human is made from William Yutani. They're stand by William Yutani. The
Yeah,
second movie, the second movie,
that's the
yeah,
big thing.
the second movie, like yeah, it's William. We just got sent you again with a bunch of marine by William Yutani.
You should have had a different company in charge of the Prometheus. I think Wayland
Yeah,
Yutani being in charge of the androids and the Prometheus Black Goo is like, okay, now I have no idea how this knowledge was not known in Alien 1. Okay, yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
everything's. I tried to give it the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, it's broken everywhere.
And then in Alien 3, they're really sad. It's like they are willing to sacrifice a bunch of marines to fight to get alien stuff.
There's a fan theory that engineers and David didn't create the Xenos; they were just reverse engineered using the black goo. Yeah,
Uh, I guess because David just created a bunch of aliens for some reason. It's like yeah, so it's so stupid. And then it's like what is happening? Oh yeah, in that scene because they say humans we have to use it to deep space exploration and to adapt to conquer planets or some shit. Or it's like mate, you already did an Alien Covenant. I'm sorry.
I hate that black goo, especially pertains to a certain character in this movie because the abuse was just getting worse. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Elizabeth Shaw in Covenant. It's like she just dies for no reason. I'm sorry. They just kill her off screen because David just want to experiment with her body. It was like, why?
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, man. It's like, oh, the aliens that you saw all this time, oh, it's because of human tampering, or it's like because of I don't know.
Yeah.
And then all these other movies introduced like crossbreeding as well.
Yep. Oh, by the
Remember
way,
that?
yeah.
Resurrection has like different cuts, like where they have different animal types. Like it's either the xenomorph dog version or the xenomorph
No, that's
ox.
Alien Free. So
Alien 3, yeah, something like that.
yeah. It's. I mean, I like that. I like the ensemble he added for Alien Free, but yeah, it's like, but what am I supposed to say? It's like, yeah. By the way, if you want to reference Alien Covenant, it's like they fell. It's like no. What David said at the end is because of solar flare, almost every crew is dead. Not because the planet is fucked. It's because they suddenly because they encounter a solar flare. That's David's lie.
Yeah, I actually like that. Covenant was so dark. The ending was bleak.
I mean, I like it in concept. It just execute. They just like there's a lot of things they just
Yeah.
how they get there is so stupid.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, I still don't really understand why Rook had to be the same face as Ian Holm, really. Because like, if you want to connect this all to like Prometheus and Covenant, I feel like you might as well just go with Michael Fassbender. But I don't know. I guess they really wanted that connection to Alien 1 too, but then that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Then I don't know if Bishop makes more sense. I don't know.
Might as well get Bishop, or to be honest, at this point, just get Winona Ryder from Alien Resurrection, and
There's some
even and
benefits to that.
yay, um, it's and then what's the fuck? Oh yeah, by the way, they got and what Wayland wants to do, what Wayland Corporation the entire time wants to do is to
Make the
make
perfect
super
human.
yeah. I was like, oh, dude, just send robots, you morons. If you, I was like, why do you even need? Why do you want to experiment on humans? What does that benefit you?
Yeah. I don't like Prometheus because it was just stupid and it had too many religious undertones. Every movie that they make destroys the mythology more and more. Don't think too hard, but consume product. Yeah,
Yay.
yeah. I know for sure. Like a lot of people, myself included. Unity, I'm sure. It's just had to make them gods. It's like okay.
Hey, David created aliens, by the way, and it's like and remember in that movie, to be honest, it's like I don't even know because they just rip off Prometheus stuff later on, anyways. But in there's a lot of stupid things happening in Prometheus.
I'm
You
sure
know,
I'm sure Zack Snyder was inspired by Prometheus for Man of Steel.
oh, maybe he's also inspired by how stupid the characters are. Hey, here's two really scared scientists, and they saw a snake made of black goo. I was like, let's just poke it. Hey, snake, wanna play?
Yeah, Superman was here because of destiny, not because of an accident.
I love my life.
But yeah, so because obviously because of Andy's new programming, Rook insists that the samples have to be brought out to the colony and prevent. Otherwise, like he's not going to let them leave. So they have to. So this whole. So we need to bring the
Black goo.
the black goo substance outside so that it could be distributed to another place where they can. So again, if nobody was in the ship, the black goo would have died in Romulus. But because somebody was there, because they were looking for fuel one day, now Rook has a motivation to get somebody to take it out. So now that black goo is going to be outside and it could be used for later crossbreeds.
Yay. Those I don't even those plot girls are those Jesus shoes. Fuck that. That can do anything. It's gonna be brought by the characters. I'm sure it won't come out something later.
Yeah, yeah. And then let's just kind of keep going because
Oh, by the way, they got guns.
yeah, they found some guns, laser guns, I guess. And
It's like guns from
yeah,
aliens too. It's just bullets, but fuck it. Yeah, and and so Kaylee was like, "Oh, how do I use the guns?" Do you know what he said?
He says he explains all the process of how to use the gun, how all that works, how many rounds are in it. He's like, how do you know all this stuff? It's like, I play video games.
They can't just have him say, "Like, oh, my father
I
is a
used to shoot
marine."
womp rats back at home.
Or
Yeah. Yeah. So they start heading out. Then they go across the hall, and then they see like a whole hive of uh alien stuff. It's like, oh my god, how much did this alien do in the last 20 years? Uh, under research and
yeah.
all this stuff. I I don't understand.
Oh,
But
so
yeah,
I thought that's like a queen alien thing. They can only do so is like that's because that's the queen alien, so you can just keep
but
those
like
people as slaves.
didn't the other films kind of say like the queen can like change can kind of move along to another person, like to another thing if the queen is killed or something like that?
I'm not sure.
Because
I
I
don't.
know to be fair, I'm thinking about AVP again, which isn't
Oh
canon,
yeah.
but like they have the queen in there too.
Well, yeah. And fun fact that sequence is supposed to be alien, and then they cut it out because they realized, yeah, that doesn't make any sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, let's we got a lot of comments. We appreciate the views, a lot of the you guys here today. With your permission, can I please rant about the last 20 minutes when you get there, because that was single-handedly the least visual, poorly explained, poorly lit thing in this movie. Sure, sure. I always hated the weird pseudo mythicism in the Alien prequel stuff. Almost as much as the dumb characters. Gamer representation. And Fox is Disney now, so I'm pretty sure we'll get that Snow White and the seven political correct xenomorphs next year. Whistle while you die. I'm done with this franchise, just like it's Terminator. Yeah,
Yay.
yeah. It's only 1 and 2, for me, and three is
Pretty,
I can
it can be
tolerate
better.
it. Yeah.
I like the director's cut. That's it.
Hmm. Yeah. Before they head out to find their way out, because like uh, Tyler hears that somebody is screaming, and it turns out that his sister is alive.
Oh,
She's
why is
just captured in a cocoon.
wow? Holy shit! How long are you here? How long does the alien act?
Yeah, not sure. But it turns out that the alien did not breed with Isabella,
For some reason.
because apparently her injuries are so bad to the point where it cannot properly put a chest burster in her. So that's why she's just left there to die. That's pretty convenient.
Yeah, I mean, if only you didn't stab her, you moron.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, that's so they get Kay, they get her out. Eventually the facehuggers are not face. Well, they're about to be attacked. So what they decide to do is, so Tyler picks Kay up, and runs through the elevator. The elevator's not working, and then he gets stabbed in the back by,
No, after because he tries to save them, so he just take the hit for them.
yeah. So yeah,
And by the way, we just pointed out, it's like even if she just blocked the spear should be also be stabbing through Kaylee Spaney and Kay already. But no, he just stops right at that point.
yeah. No, because like he was carrying Isabella, so it's like if he got stabbed in the chest, she should have been stabbed too, but it only
Yeah.
stabbed him. So yeah, Tyler's dead.
And apparently he
And
just
then it also
drop it.
knocks Andy off its to his side.
Yeah, and apparently because Tyler just dropped his gun.
Yeah, that too. Um,
Yeah.
which then they don't have the second gun the entire film. They only use Kaylee one gun.
I mean,
That's
yeah, I guess.
yeah. Then so so Kaylee has to carry Isabella on like the soldier way into the elevator. She's like tasking. She's like she's going back for Andy, and then she's
Uh,
telling is like Kay that like just have to go into the cryo sleep and then bring yourself back to the planet so that you can get yourself healed up, and then you take these samples, these Prometheus fire samples, off to this colony and all this stuff. So basically telling her what to do.
I was like,
Um,
yeah. Remember, there's a scene beforehand. It's like Andy was like, "Yeah, take the sample. It will make you better." Everyone's like, "No, don't do it."
yeah, he said there's a 25% chance that will save her life. But Kaylee's like, don't do that because that's not worth it. You could just go to the
Yeah,
cryo sleep and fix yourself up without harming your body.
yeah.
Um, but then eventually, so Kaylee leaves her, and then Isabella takes the sample anyway.
Fuck, why? I mean, I guess you're injured, but it's like, you do not know that this will you this help you with anything, or is there any side effects?
Yeah, that side effect will be important later. As for me, in the moment, I was like, okay, you got a 25% chance of living. She was clearly unable to walk on her own, uh, and that stuff. But then it kind of factored in, like, okay, she was being carried because she was injured, two different times, but like that doesn't mean she can't actually walk on her own or anything like that. That's kind of the thing. Kay is a punching bag throughout this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, uh, Rain goes back for Andy. She takes out his chip and puts back his old one. So now he's not that super smart guy anymore. He's back to that, the loser version.
Yeah.
Uh, right. And then, so they try to go back to the elevator. It's not working. So they have decided that they're gonna have to die. So they're
Because
sitting there waiting for
I was
death.
like, I was like, okay, you didn't just fall, just fucking shoot them.
Yeah, so they're waiting for death, but then eventually they do come to the thing. It's like, oh, let's turn off the gravity.
Oh,
Um,
and by the way, the
as like
switch is just
because the aliens are on their way.
the
Yeah,
switch is just right there, right next to them.
yeah, everything is like really close to each other.
Hmm.
So yeah, she turns off the gravity.
But
Um,
by the way, because if they shoot, they gotta because in the ground floor, if they shoot, they gotta burn the hole. It's like everything's gonna suck inside. But like, are you sure this is not better than turn off gravity? Because if you turn off gravity, the acid will just gonna float into the walls.
this is a SpongeBob meme. I put
Oh
Patrick's correct tag back.
yeah,
I love that episode. But yeah, the yeah. So because of the whole sulfuric acid, like if you kill them, the blood will drip onto the ground, and they're at the base level of the ship. So if they uh get acid on it, then it's going to penetrate the space station, and then the air is going to come in, and then that's not good. So yeah, that's why the zero gravity turns on. Then you got this cool action scene where these bullets just kill a bunch of xenomorphs.
20 of
Um,
them. A
a
girl with a
lot of yeah,
gun.
yeah.
How
Those
does
used to be
that work?
difficult. Those used to be difficult. Guns used to not work that well on aliens, but okay.
Hey, it just has aim assist. What does that mean? There's automatic rifles that allow that move the gun on its own.
Yeah, that was a funny thing too. Is like, this thing has a targeting system, so like if you point at it, it's gonna shoot it. Okay, cool. So,
Sure,
so she
just
didn't
like
have
every
to be
gun.
great at aim, basically.
Yay.
Yeah. So yeah, the shooting happens. You know,
Yeah. Hey, isn't that
and
funny?
there's like an intercut where Kay goes back to the ship with the samples. Rook like overtook the CCTV of that ship too, which I don't know. Rook is just
Oh,
sentient, I guess.
oh,
He's
well,
like, oh,
but
it's yeah.
oh
It's
yeah,
like good. You have
just
the You have the samples. You can leave now. But she
uh,
doesn't
uh,
want to leave it.
yeah. And then do you remember what Rook told? Like, okay, do you get to the conversation between Rook and Kaylee? It's like, fuck, Rain and Andy.
That's when they get back out. That's after the elevator stuff.
Oh, sure, sure.
Yeah. So, uh, Kaylee killed a lot of aliens. They open the elevator, or they go through like a duct so they can go into the elevator without going into the elevator shaft, basically. And then
Yeah, I was like, when I saw,
Andy's like floating up, but Kaylee gets wrapped by the leg by the alien, so it's getting to a point where she's going up, but the gun is out of her hand. She's trying to get it, but then the gravity thing is about to turn back on. So if she doesn't catch on to something, she's gonna fall. So she's trying to go as high as she can to get to Andy, but the gravity turns back on that she starts falling. So
yeah,
it seems like she's falling to her death. But before she falls, she is caught by a thing, which happens to be the alien.
yeah,
Honestly, one of my comment on the alien, and like you don't really get to see the alien that well in the movie. Like you get like you probably get like two good shots of the alien, but then outside of that, it's like kind of uh, zoomed out. You don't really get to see the full picture of it. That's kind of the unfortunate thing.
yeah.
But yeah,
Hmm.
they evolved backwards to be vulnerable to bullets. Yeah.
Yeah, and also they have the crouch hammer evolve backwards. So, oh well.
Yeah, so they're extra vulnerable to toxic YouTube comments. You win some, you lose some. Yeah, yeah. So the alien catches her. Instead of like killing her immediately, it's like doing the second mouth thing. For the claps, and then that's when. So this whole time, Andy caught the elevator that was falling down
With one
so,
hand.
with one hand, and then he drops it, which gets Kaylee to turn inside that she doesn't get caught in the crossfire of the elevator because the acid fell down. All right, there's a few things. The acid from the blood spatter from earlier, it starts falling onto the grates, and now the acid is like soaking into the ship and then causing the space air to come in, and that's why there's like that danger stuff like that. So that's why he drops the elevator so that it can plug the hole,
Yeah.
and it just works,
Uh,
I guess.
I,
Yeah,
I guess
the
it's.
alien gets caught and then falls into space, and yeah,
And remember the. Do you remember the line?
that was
What?
before. That was during the.
Yeah.
All right, then no, the alien is still there. Then he drops down to the ground, all the way to the ground. He gets the gun, and then he says the line, which is
Get away from her,
"You
you
bitch."
bitch.
Yeah. The thing is,
It's like,
like, he doesn't curse in the movie at all, so it's like it's really weird when he says it.
yeah, and then it was like, you bitch. Okay, what is that? Oh, it's just a callback. Even though that was so meaningful in Aliens.
Yeah.
And we gotta have another line later, but it's like really soon later.
Yeah. So Andy and Rain, they're good now. They go up to
Yeah.
the ship. They find Rain is still there. I mean, they find Kay is still there.
And
Kay
then
is like kind of bleeding out but unconscious, but she's still alive. What took
yeah,
you
and
so
then
long?
and then there's Rogue stuff. Let's get to
And
Rogue stuff first.
then Rook says his comments. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, remember the line? You have my sympathy.
You have my sympathy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an alien.
Sure you did.
Yeah, of course. And he said, okay, this is not a reference, but he said, I contacted Wayland. They will be here in 6 months.
I'm so
That's
confused. I'm so confused on this whole thing with Romulus ship in general. It's like, okay, so the reason, so Rook could not be turned. So Rook was like off, but he wasn't really off because uh he wasn't connected to the computer to Mother. Which okay, I guess this ship has Mother too. That's I thought it would be
yes.
more associated with Nostromo, but okay. But yeah, but like, because like we talked about Rook earlier was like a zombie kind of thing where Navarro was touching it, and there's like, oh, don't touch it, don't touch it. And then he turns on that way, but he's not actually on because he wasn't connected to the computer. But now that he's connected to the computer, now he can contact Wayland Corporation and then tell them, hey, come back to the ship. We need you. That's pretty convenient.
And now it's like, oh, there's not even a structure anymore that the people in Alias doesn't know. It's like, oh, we actually don't even need to send people. We already sent people here 6 months ago, like okay, 20, 30 years ago, to see this wreckage, found alien sample parts, found the stupid black goo. Remember, the base is not blown up; it's just crashed into the ring.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, of course they gotta found it. If they even found a fucking alien body after getting nuked 3 times, and so they gotta find this. They gotta experiment on it. They gotta have access to everything, and aliens shouldn't even happen.
Right. Um. Yeah, the black goo is out there. So fuck it. Yeah, and as Ray and Andy prepare to go to Yaga, uh, Kay is affected by the compound injection, and then
Hey,
causes her to
remember from
give birth. And
remember Alien Free Prometheus, where they have the alien in the in the girl body. Uh, but at the same time, Alien Free in Prometheus, Elizabeth Shaw decided to just get herself in the machine and just grab the alien out of herself. To be
yeah,
honest, that's the
which is kind of crazy. There's a device that can like pull the baby out without actual conception. Okay.
yeah. It's like, and it's so insane, and it's like they just like, here's a C-section, lol. It's and to be honest, that's the only sequence I kind of like. That's the only sequence that Elizabeth Shaw is actually doing something.
Kay gets ripped open by a giant ovomorph egg. She's had a great time so far in this movie. Yeah, I don't like seeing hot women suffer. To be fair, but
Yeah,
to keep going, yeah. So she gives birth to that xenomorph human hybrid, who's played by a Romanian basketball player, by the way.
yeah.
And
To be honest, they should just get her in the medical bay at this point. It's like, fuck, just have a laser cutter, just cut her belly open.
yeah, oh, and that baby is dead. So
No, no, well,
nice.
it's not like they have a cryo chamber, so they can just freeze her for a moment, and then they can just laser cut it open.
I
If
don't even
only
know
that
if the I don't even know if like that whole like her injecting herself is the problem. But at that point, it's like you didn't have to inject yourself. And it's like I guess there was like some logic, like you have a 25% chance of being fine. And it's like she was bleeding out. So like there's like a level of trauma that she's going through. But yeah, that's it just goes back to that's this is why I just feel bad for her because like she didn't know anything that was going on. It just happened to her. And then like she gets in the situation, then she's all alone for most of the movie. And then once she does get interaction again, she's like bleeding out to death. Yeah, it's really unfortunate what's going
yeah,
on.
and no, not just bleeding out to death. Do you know how she died?
Yeah, uh, yeah. Go ahead.
Her newfound baby decided to crawl over her and suck her titties and suck her dry.
Lucky bastard.
Yay.
Yeah. So yeah, Kay is killed. Andy is injured. But
Uh,
Rain like manages to get the hybrid out into space.
yeah, I do not know why didn't Andy just fight it, even though this guy has a strength to just catch an elevator.
Yeah,
He just
so it gets ejected and gets knocked into the Jackson rings.
yeah, actually just look at that comment.
They can't show Xenomorphs killing people, but they can't show Briss
I hate it.
through their shirt.
I
Yeah,
want to see that.
inconsistencies. It's rated R. Come on, guys.
Damn it. So yeah, this sequence. So everyone's around. This is the worst sequence everyone said is in the movie, which is it's way worse somehow.
Yeah,
I
my thing is like again, this film was like, it's not like yes, the connections to Prometheus really breaks the entire universe. I understand that, but like the movie itself was like okay, like it's not terrible. Like I can get what's going on. It does feel like there is like a resurgence of trying not to be nonsense, but then it gets to nonsense, and then
Hey, let's just talk about what this sequence is stealing from. Alien Resurrection. Literally. In Alien Resurrection, Clone Ripley has sex with an alien so she can give birth to an ugly motherfucker to kill the alien. And the ugly motherfucker follows Clone Ripley on the ship.
Isn't that
And
the Josh Whedon one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same color as well. Yellow.
Yeah. Then it's free. And then Andy's put in a chamber. Rain records a log about how they're hoping for their arrival to Yaga before going to stasis.
It's like,
And that's how the movie ends.
Actually, we just gotta go through how this fucking shit's like how did they beat this thing? So okay, if this is a black hole for you, I completely understand. Rain's gun run out of bullets, so she can't shoot it. So the monster should be killing her, but she didn't. It didn't. It just stares at her for most of the time. And so Ray dropped the cocoon thing and burned the ship, and just suddenly creates a massive hole and just suck both of them. Remember that Rain actually puts on the shuttle. It's like what was like okay, what's it called? What's it called? Astronaut suit from Alien, the first one. And so
apparently the black goo liquefied her organs so that the hybrid would not only drink her black goo breast milk, but also drank her organs through her breasts. So that's why we saw the pale husk of Kay. Tragic end. Yeah. She really didn't do anything.
Yeah, it's just
it's very brutal too. It's like
she's just a plot device for the plot. You're just like, oh, we need something to happen. Let's just beat the fuck out of her.
It's like a plot device for because like that's kind of weird too. Because like she could have been fine, and like maybe something bad happens to her later if they make a second film. Because I think they're making a second film. Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
It has high reception. It already made its money back. So yeah, I'm guessing there's a second film coming out. But yeah, it's like I guess something bad could happen to her in the next film, maybe. But no, she has to die in this one, and that's kind of weird too, because like you already feel like there was a third act with the whole alien zero gravity elevator thing, but I guess they wanted another third act by including the alien baby to homage Resurrection, I guess.
Yeah, even though no one likes that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was I again? Yeah, she just put on the suit from Alien because remember Alien. and just lasso her on the ship, and so the small hole suddenly becomes a big hole for no reason, and just suck the ugly motherfucker down to space with her, and the ugly motherfucker grabs herself onto Rain. Rain doesn't feel that, by the way. I do not understand why doesn't she know that until she just reveal later. And so he tries to poke her spacesuit glass instead of just destroying it. He's just like, yeah, just gonna poke it with my tongue, and I'm just gonna crack it instead of just breaking it. And so the rope that links to the ship so happens to be linked to the switch that is gonna release the path of the ship, and she just move the rope and just drop the ship. By the way, there's only a small hole of this massive ship that she can just escape herself through. She just and it just does. She just suddenly and it just miraculously she just gone through the hole with the ugly motherfucker just killed in space through the rain. Yeah, what are the odds of that? It's like the Charlie Chaplin joke. Where the building just falls over her, the house just falls over him. But he just survived because there's a small hole right there.
The window, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, and she won. That's it.
Yeah.
Well,
So that was the movie.
and yeah, that the ending is just we just got to recall a lot, and we're leaving. Oh no, instead of no grief, no remorse to any of the teammates, no
Do
remorse.
they even have the fuel, by the way?
Oh, Buster Keaton. Fuck yeah.
And he played a bad alien game where he was shooting face huggers at the start of the movie. They only showed it for 2 seconds. We should have saw more, but I believe Disney said they couldn't show certain things. Why would Isabella Merced sign up for this tragic and noble character who was only doing what was best? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Buster Keaton. Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah, sorry, it's Buster Keaton shit. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the movie. And yeah, just like it just ends. They just go crowd chamber and just bye.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like in terms of like the reception is very high, and I can understand why it doesn't do that. I guess it's not being pretentious in the whole godly stuff, yet it includes an aspect of it. But I think that's kind of why people are kind of high on this movie because like it kind of feels like Alien 1 in the sense like it's like things are happening in a space station and it's like you're like trapped in a space station with an alien and all this stuff and I can see like why people are gravitating toward this movie because it doesn't feel as like big compared to the other films like in that sense.
I was after this movie. After I finished. I was lost for words. I I was just watching. I was like, oh, you're just grabbing stuff from other previous movies and just using it on your own. The only other thing I forgot to mention that they grab it's like okay actually two things. It's like Andy said, I would prefer to be called synthetic human, like way earlier. And the other thing is like the iconic thing from Alien 3. It's like the face hugger just close. It's like getting close to the main character's face. They did that in the elevator sequence in this movie, but the thing is in Alien 3, it's because Ripley is pregnant with an alien. And now in this movie, it's like there's no reason, so the alien should be killing her instead of just spooking her. It's insane. And what do I even gain for the characters?
Not much. Uh,
Like, well, I mean, there's the characters, like, but it's like, what is the dynamic between Rain and Andy? It's so thin.
they're the only ones who have a dynamic, to be fair.
Yeah, and that's the best part because there's nothing attached to.
Yeah, it's like again, my favorite part in this movie was the whole like the idea that we might have to leave Andy behind, and Andy thinks about it, and then he says, "No, that's fine with me as long as it's okay with Rain." And then how Rain reacts to hearing that. That was like my favorite part of the movie, and there's like nothing related to that because of I guess because of this adventure, sure, but
Yeah,
but yeah, that was like it's just like I wish like it was more like that.
yeah, and the other thing it's like, remember the fuel? They didn't bring it. They didn't bring it to the ship.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't even know if they got their fuel to go to Yaga. Like, anyway, so
yeah,
was this whole mission pointless? We don't even know. What this movie should have done was have a queen face hugger attach itself to K, and with that combined with the black goo, she would have given birth to a queen overmorph, and K would still be alive.
yeah.
Listen,
Fuck it. Let's just
I understand, Isabella Merced. We both completely understand.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think that's my relationship with this movie. It's like I can understand where people are coming from in terms of like why they like it. But I can also see your point of view. Like, oh, this is pretty much really bad because it ties like the prequel stuff into the original series and all that stuff. Which it's the Obi-Wan of New
Oh,
Hope, basically.
yeah. It's and then it's like it just broke Alien free. It just retcon a lot of things for Alien, and just like because they just like, yeah, we know everything from Prometheus, so it's like you're fucked the entire universe. And to be honest, it's like I'm gonna say this, like how Prometheus and Alien Covenant like tries to like distinct themselves from the other movies are like the acolyte to the prequels. They did a piss poor job,
Yeah.
but they try, yeah, but they try
Mhm.
to argue that.
The big thing here is like I don't really know because like when you make a prequel in general for something like Alien, again, a creature that happened to exist for the first time because of an accident. So it's like when you start to explain why this creature exists because of human tampering and all this stuff and God, whatever, then you start to lose people on that. And then obviously when you start combine also I just hate like, dude, it's an alien. Just let an alien be an alien. Stop making like humans be involved with aliens, man. Like I mean, like, would you imagine like if one day if we do ever find the aliens that is not made out of cake in our world, like, oh, it's like actually those were humans from a long time ago and they did something and then that's why they're there. I mean, I guess that's cool, but like, but that's kind of disappointing too, because like, let aliens be aliens. I don't know why do we need to explain their origins and stuff like that.
But because Ridley Scott is also producer of this movie, so he must like, yeah, include the black goo. Someone should just like, no, fuck it, no, you old fuck, go to retirement.
I like this movie, but how Kay was treated is why I can't watch it again. Her character is suffering for the entire movie, and they accelerate her suffering to her death. Unnecessary treatment. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not going to say I like the movie. I tolerated it for at least 4/5 of it. But yeah, I definitely agree. Like Kay's mistreatment is like really brutal for no reason.
yeah. It's
Take
like it's,
my thing is like take that pain and give it all to Bjorn. He's the one who deserved it. So but yeah.
yeah, but you see, we, oh,
So
It's
yeah.
it is a movie. So how do we rank this movie from other fucking Alien franchises?
In terms of a movie quality, I can put it at the third best, but like in terms of like how it affects the franchise, it is like the worst in that sense because like it pretty much like recontextualizes everything of the sequels. Um, because of this one film confirming that the knowledge of the prequels is known to everybody. That's like that's how damaging it is for its franchise. But yeah, that's why I kind of have like a weird relationship with this movie.
Yeah, it's like I think it's worse than Prometheus because like because I just know that I was like, oh my lord, why would you do that? You just make yourself way worse now.
Yeah, and it's like at least like before knowing that knowledge, it's like okay, they caught the alien from Alien. That's super convenient, but I guess you can make it work. The only thing I find annoying is like, okay, within 20 years, another space station came into the same sector of space, and they happened to find the same alien from Alien One, and they were able to get some damages from the first Nostromo. Okay, I guess you could kind of work with that. But then yeah, like then it's like oh we knew everything about Prometheus. We want to accelerate human perfection and stuff like that. So yeah, all that stuff is known, and here we are.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not surprised if that scene is a reshoot.
I'm not sure if this film got reshoots, but maybe.
Yeah, it looks so clean for the sets. So it's like, yeah, I that's what my suspicion is. Like, it's that's a reshoot, and it doesn't really go anywhere because remember the character's reaction?
Yeah, you're right. Everything is pretty like dark and grim and dirty because of the alien attack. Um, but then this one room is like pristine. Nothing happened in there. But
Yeah,
then outside of the chamber is where the aliens are nesting.
yeah,
So it's like, okay, I guess they just didn't come into this area before. Okay, I get it.
yeah. It's and also the character's reaction when they hear it's like, oh, the company's doing this shit, and they're making aliens, and everyone's like, oh, okay, moving on. What the? Do you guys not care about this? Yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah,
that's yeah. I mean, the only mess that room has is the escape rats and one chair is flipped.
hmm.
Yep, that was it. So it was like, yeah, that scene. I was like, is that scene a reshoot when I saw it?
Yeah. It's the only thing that honestly, it's the only thing that ties into the prequels because there's no other scene that does that. And then obviously the whole homage to Elizabeth Shaw. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, that was Alien Romulus. Any
to
last
be honest,
thoughts?
I mean, to be honest, I think I'll take Elizabeth Shaw than any of those characters, which is insane. But I don't even know because like I'm not that invested in the Alien franchise. When I saw this, it's like, wow, what did you do again?
Yeah, yeah. I just stick to the original
I
series
mean,
stuff.
I
I
mean,
can
I'm if
four is like bad, but like it's like that fun bad where we can't get that level of movies anymore. I don't know.
yeah,
I just think the 80s and 90s are like they're just the kings of that generation of fun bad movies. Whereas nowadays you can't really get that unless it's a. I mean, Adam Sandler movies have gotten better, to be fair.
hmm,
Um,
sure.
but yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I mean, if anyone asks, I think the Predator franchise is doing better than this.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess like we talked about a comparison from Prey and this movie.
Prey, at least the characters are much better than Prey, so and there's an interesting, much more interesting premise.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, it's also not saying, "Oh, we humans created the predator." So
Oh, right. That's from. To be honest, they just fucked it up by saying actually the predators were just taking humans to survive. Taking human genes to be super predators. They just retcon the entire motivation of the species.
isn't that the predator though that does
Oh
that?
yeah, yeah. The predator. That's the one that
Yeah,
retcon the entire thing. It's like Prometheus.
but that was like a sequel, I think.
Because here's the thing when it comes to it's like Alien franchise. Like here's the thing when it comes to Alien and Predators. Predators is always like okay, here's a new group of character every movie. In Aliens, it's just like here's Ripley 4 times. I mean, I guess they try to just make different characters in Prometheus and Alien Covenant and this one, but it's like at the same time you just kind of get it's like they just want to do the thing over and over again.
Yeah,
At the very least, the Predator franchise try to do something new every time. I've never seen AVP movies, so don't ask me about my opinions of those.
they're non-canon anyway.
Yep.
Alien and Aliens are my two favorite movies. I've seen them so many times. All the rest do not exist in my dimension. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, that was our. What would have made this movie fun is they went full The Fly with K in her body. A lot of ideas with K. Is anyone transformation? Queen.
I don't even understand how does the black goo works because in Prometheus, like how did Elizabeth Shaw got pregnant is because her husband drank the goo that David spiked, and they have sex, so they got pregnant. And now you just inject it into her. Even though if you watch Prometheus and Alien Covenant, if you touch the goo, you die. If you drink the goo, you die. So it was like I thought she would still be dying instead of just creating hybrids.
Mm.
And the amount of spike that David did is just one drop. That's it.
Right. So yeah, Alien Romulus, not. I think it did okay in term for most of the movie. Then it got really silly, especially in the last act. I don't really recommend it. I don't think the franchise is saved. But
Yeah,
I know that the discourse will say that. So yeah.
yeah. I think it's worse than Prometheus because you know how horrifyingly they broke the franchise again.
Yeah, I just stick to Alien 1 and 2, man. And
Yeah.
those are really great movies. That was back when Ridley Scott and James Cameron were in their primes.
Yep. Now we gotta get Noah Hawley in the Alien show, Alien Earth. Hey, we're gonna have aliens on Earth again. Because fuck you.
Yeah. The Black Goo is current Alien franchise is convenient when it wants to be. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that was our thoughts on Alien Romulus. You know, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye. And I don't think there's any good movies this summer right now.
Yeah, it's been a brutal summer. Though I think next week or the week after is Beetlejuice. We're gonna talk about that movie.
I need to watch Beetlejuice first, the first one.
Yeah, and next week we're talking about House of the Dragons. So be on the lookout for that. You can subscribe to our personal channels, Red Develos Reviews and Unity Review and Analysis. You can subscribe to our other channel, Another Reviews Corp podcast, where we archive these videos where you guys can check them out another time. We also have a Spotify of the same name, Another Reviews Corp podcast. All of these links are in the description down below. And we will see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.